Welcome back. I'm here today with Benjamin Chen. He is the CEO of Immune Targeting Systems. Let's start with your background. I understand you have a PhD. So what exactly is the study of immunology?
Well, immunology is, in many ways, is a discipline involved in many different aspects of biology. But in a nutshell, you think about when you get a vaccine, that's involved immunology. When you get vaccinated, right, that involves immunology. When people have cancer, some of the treatments involve stimulating the immune systems to fight cancer. And when you have infectious disease and such, in many ways, the reason you get better is because the immune system is helping to get rid of some of the infectious agents and such. So immunology is a very broad discipline. In many ways, is part of your body systems to fight infectious agents, cancers, or anything that's not good for you. In some ways, is protecting. Is a protective system. Right?
I remember growing up, oftentimes the cold and flu season would come. And back then they always said, we can't find a cure for the common cold. Is it true still today? Or
Yeah, so there's a difference between common cold and flu. Right. So flu is caused by what we call a virus, and common cold is caused by bacteria. The common cold is it can be treated, right, including chicken soup and such, and get some rest and such. Virus flu is very different. It's good that you mentioned that because the company that I'm involved in is trying to tackle this particular problem. At a later time, we can talk about that.
Okay, so It's interesting that bacteria versus a virus. A virus is easier to treat?
No, actually, a virus is more difficult to treat.
Okay.
Bacteria, most bacteria are easier to treat. Antibiotics, because on the other hand, these days you hear all about antibiotic-resistant bacteria and such. So things are getting more complicated. Yeah.
Well, Ben, what gave you the inspiration to do your own company? Is this your first company targeting immune systems, or did you do other ventures prior to this?
Well, I have been involved in 5 different companies in my career. Yeah, and I caught the bug of being involved in biotech industry, as I mentioned earlier. So when I was at Stanford and I saw many of the professors went off and start companies, the goal here is instead of just doing research to answer scientific questions and address some of the scientific curiosity, I just say, well, this is what I discovered. How can I apply that in a real situation that can help people and improve human health? For example, you said, can we treat flu? So that's an important question, especially for the elderly population, right? So is that kind of inspiration, so they say, I can be involved in scientific discovery in a very different setting, in a company setting where we can actually see if we can develop a drug or a treatment that will help people.
When we're dealing with the industry of immunology, it seems that there would have to be a lot of collaboration and sharing amongst the different scientists or different patterns. Is that true or not?
Oh, absolutely. Especially true in immunology. As I pointed out, it is really a discipline. So as opposed to chemistry, and it is not as clear-cut. Physics, chemistry, when you mention that word, you know roughly what you're dealing with. Immunology is a multidisciplinary approach, involve different disciplines. So involve computational biology, involve molecular biology, involve physiologists and such. So absolutely, collaboration is critical.
I'm visiting here today with Benjamin Chen. He's the CEO of Immune Targeting Systems. Did I say that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. We could call it ITS.
ITS.
Yeah.
And they're actually located out of London. And we have to take a quick break here today. And when we get back, we'll get back more specifics of how they go about tackling the flu vaccination and other viruses today. We'll be right back after these messages.
I love fishing, with my family.
I think it would be easier to use a net.
It was so much fun.
The times when we are together, it makes it all all the more worth it.
Having Dad teach them how to like cast a fly rod, and
As long as we're doing stuff together, we're having fun.
Some people see a father and a son fishing together, while others see a succession plan. Welcome back. I'm here today with Benjamin Chen. He has a PhD in immunology, and he's currently serving as the CEO of Immune Targeting Systems. And they're located, or you're doing most of your work out of London, I understand.
Yeah, the company is based in the central in London. Yeah.
Now, tell me, was it from a strategic standpoint that London was chosen? Is it a little easier to get your science and research out to market in another country, or what? Why London?
No, we have this saying: a good idea can be, a company can be started in any part of the world, and as long as we focus on the global market. And so there are a number of factors why this company is located in London, and oftentimes the two major factors are where you can get money, and two, where can you get talent, right? I mean, of course, Silicon Valley is the birthplace of biotechnology. Oftentimes, companies still started here, but the competition is very stiff both in terms of getting money and then also getting assessing talents and such. So there are entrepreneurs who are, where their homes are in London, there's no reason for them to come to Silicon Valley, and so there's an opportunity for them to access the European capital for them to build a company, and that's what they've done.
I understand you're part of what your research and your mission statement over there is focusing on flu viruses. How do you go about once you target a certain flu virus? How do you go about distributing that into the mass markets for immunization?
Yeah, and that's a very important question. But before we go there, let me just tell you a little bit about what we do, so that put in perspective on how we should get it out to people in mass. Right. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing, in addition to flu, we also have products in hepatitis and cancer. But let's just focus on flu first. Why flu? Right. Today, when flu season comes and such, you're asked to get yourself vaccinated. What you may not know is that those who get vaccinated, if you're very healthy, only about 60% of you are protected. And if you're the elderly population or the very young, the protection rate is even much lower. So in 2012, the protection rate of those infected is less than 10%. You say, what is going on here? Part of it is because the virus that we produce to use for vaccinating to be changed every year because the virus mutate, right? And by the time you get a manufactured, the virus may have already changed. When I say mutate, that means change. And so it's not very good in eliciting the immune system to protect yourself. This is a long-winded way of saying that, but nevertheless, it's very important to put in perspective on how big this opportunity is, how big this threat is, especially when you have a situation, when you have a pandemic flu, a swine flu. That's part of influenza. It's just a very virulent or very nasty flu virus came out, and we were not prepared, right? And so how we need to distribute it is really need to work with a big pharmaceutical company. A small company like Immune Targeting System is really good in the discovery and pushing the science forward and get the product into a clinical study, late-stage clinical study, and then the big company needs to come in. Companies like Novartis and SmithKline, GSK and such, which has a dominant position in the influenza space, they need to take it through the global regulatory approval. They need to use their distribution channel. They need to promote this particular product. So next time, when this product comes out and such, you may see a commercial from GSK saying, go get vaccinated, and this is the new product we're introducing that gives you greater than 90% protection. So that would be the goal of we're trying to achieve. And coming back to you, the commercial aspect is really through partnership.
I'm visiting here today with Benjamin Chen. He is the CEO of Targeting Immune Systems, and his organization is based out of London, and they do a lot of research on the viruses that are out there with flu, cancer, and hepatitis C?
B.
Hepatitis B. Benjamin, I need to take a quick break. When we get back, I want to talk about the increasing difficulty with these strains of viruses, I guess, where we talk about how they mutate and it becomes more difficult to control.
Yeah.
We'll be right back after these messages.
He's the world's most trustworthy man. Tax filing deadlines are scheduled around his vacation calendar. The IRS agent who audited his client apologized.
I don't always advise people on their taxes, but when I do, I save them every penny legally possible.
GROCO CPAs and Advisors.
Come to GROCO and stay wealthy, my friend.
Welcome back. I'm here today with Benjamin Chen. He is the CEO of Immune Targeting Systems. They're based out of London. And we've been talking about the aspects of which your companies focus in, the cancer research, focus on hepatitis B and the flu viruses. I want to back up and say, Ben, what brought you to this company? And you were in Stanford doing research over there and did a couple of ventures. But what did you see in this company and taking the problems on?
It's a great question. To pause to think about that a little bit. I think part of it is because step back for a minute. I'm a scientist by training, but I'm always interested in cutting edge technology, and want to be involved in ways to help move some of those cutting edge technology into potential commercial products. So there was a period of time I became an investment banker and was involved in a venture fund, and actually a period of time was 9 years when I was involved with one of the leading life sciences venture firm. And I have this habit of monitoring what's happening in different parts of the world and promising companies. Immune Targeting System was one company caught my eye when they first got started, because I thought their value proposition and how to address this very difficult problem was based on two things. One is based on the mistakes others have made, and two is capturing the new scientific developments and combine the two to a very attractive platform. When I saw them 8 years ago, they were just ideas, not a whole lot there. And I stay in touch and to see if they can generate some proof of concept data and such. And 3 years ago, I met up with the CEO in San Francisco, where I'm based, and saw they have very interesting data. And now conversation lead to what I can help them to position the company in North America and in China. I signed on to do that. In the process, then also got to know the investors, who are some of the blue chip investors, including Novartis Venture Fund, HealthCap, and Truffle Capital. For those of you involved in biotech industry, you know these are very well-known investors. And the conversation leads to the fact is that the investors want to take the company to the next level, and I was brought in to make that happen. And they appointed me the CEO and the chairman of the company to allow me to do my job better. And the team is a very small team. It's about 20 people, very typical of a startup company, mostly involved in R&D. And our goal here is that I can use my network to broaden the reach of the company, to help them form partnerships and help them to link up with key opinion leaders in the universities to get the word out of the exciting things that they're doing, and form collaborations. So we have collaboration with Stanford, with Duke, with Cambridge University, and Peter College, so on and so forth. It's part of our effort to move that forward. I emphasize too much on certain other aspects. If there are other areas that you would want me to expand on, I'd be happy to do that.
Immunology, is it a small industry in the life science area?
Immunology has always been a very important therapeutic area, we call it, in our biotech industry. But it's a very complex area, because if you look at individuals, your immune system is very different from my immune system, and so on and so forth, for various different factors. So it's very difficult to design a drug that works with every individual out there, and it's also very difficult to find a good way to stimulate the immune system of different individuals. However, there are some breakthroughs that are happening just in the last 2 years. In fact, some of the scientific journals and magazines and such are highlighting the breakthroughs in immunology, and so the field is changing quite a bit this moment. So a lot of exciting things are happening.
It seems like every flu season, cold
Yeah.
and flu season, there becomes stronger and stronger strains out there. People are getting sicker and sicker. And is there any truth? Is that my perception, or is there some truth to the matter about, sometimes some of these strains are very difficult and take you down.
Well, the issue here is that we think we're very smart, but infectious pathogens are very smart in fighting for their survival as well. So, for example, a flu, for example, is one that is very good in adapting itself. Right? So just when we develop immune system to last year's flu, another flu may come in and present itself very differently. So our body do not recognize that right away. It'll prepare to fight off that particular strain. And that's one of the causes why we perceive that the virus is getting more and more virulent, nasty, if you will. And then, yes, as a result, is that the symptoms are a lot stronger.
When cold and flu season comes, you see at the local drugstore they're giving flu vaccinations. Is it a generic vaccination? I mean, does one vaccination work for all, or do you find that some of these viruses and cultures are getting much stronger to where some vaccinations may not be taking effect?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So I use some scientific terms to describe that, but don't worry about that. So the flu vaccine is aimed to elicit a B-cell antibody response in your body. And most of us who has been exposed to flu before, once we see the vaccine, will produce an antibody response. Right? The question here is whether you have one strong enough antibody response, or two, if you have the right response for that season's flu. Because as I pointed out to you, the virus is very smart in escaping our immune system. The part that's recognized by the antibody is the one the virus is going to change. And so the vaccine is universal in the sense that anyone can use it, but whether your body will respond to it properly, that is the key, that is the issue. And that is the reason why we talk about that there is room for improvement.
Ben, how does a person find out more about your company, Immune Targeting Systems?
Just like anything else, if you Google Immune Targeting Systems, you'll find quite a bit about our company. Because we do participate in conferences and present our data as we publish our findings in journals and such.
Ben, I appreciate being on today's show. We need to take a quick break. We've been visiting here today with Ben Chen. He's the CEO of Immune Targeting Systems. We'll be right back after these messages.